The gates of San Quentin State Prison in California loom like silent sentinels, dark and imposing against the gray morning sky. To most, it is just another prison, brick and concrete, barbed wire, and heavy steel doors. But those who have lived inside its walls know a very different story. A story that whispers of fear, secrecy, and survival. A story that begins before you even set foot inside. Within the first seconds of stepping onto the grounds, newcomers feel it. A weight pressing down from the towering walls, the metal fences, and the watchful eyes of guards stationed at every corner. The air itself seems heavier here, as if carrying decades of pain, violence, and untold stories. Inmates whisper of things they dare not speak aloud. The dark corners of the prison, the unseen rules that govern life and death, and the chilling reality that San Quentin is more than just a place of incarceration. It is a living, breathing entity that demands respect, submission, or it will consume you. Most first-time visitors underestimate the magnitude of the prison's presence. Tourists might glance at the architecture. Journalists might take notes on statistics and historical facts. But the inmates know a truth far more unsettling. Within San Quentin, hierarchy isn't determined solely by age or offense. It is a complex ecosystem of alliances, threats, and secrets passed down like sacred knowledge from one generation of prisoners to the next. New inmates are observed immediately, not by guards alone, but by those who have walked these halls for decades. They watch, they test, and they judge. And if you fail to navigate the unseen social codes, you become prey. Some of the most notorious inmates housed here are legends in their own right. Men whose names alone stir fear and fascination. But it is not only the high-profile criminals who hold the stories. Every man behind the walls carries secrets, and some are more horrifying than the crimes that sent them here. From the whispers of contraband smuggling to coded communication between rival gangs. From tales of brutal retribution to secretive rituals carried out in the dead of night. San Quentin is a place where law outside the prison is meaningless. Inside, a different justice exists, a justice often invisible to the outside world, yet unyielding in its authority. The first few hours in the intake area are a trial in themselves. New arrivals are stripped of possessions, fingerprinted, and photographed. But the real assessment comes not from forms or guards. It comes from the eyes of those who have already survived here. Some inmates will smile at you, but it is rarely genuine warmth. It is a test. Every glance, every word exchanged carries weight. There are stories of men who, within a day of arriving, were marked for survival or destruction, not by the prison system, but by their fellow inmates. This initial scrutiny sets the stage for everything that follows, shaping relationships, alliances, and rivalries that may last for years or a lifetime. Even beyond the immediate dangers, the walls of San Quentin hold a chilling history. Established in the 1850s, the prison has seen executions, riots, and corruption of a scale few can imagine. In its early years, it was a site of forced labor, with inmates working in grueling conditions that would break the unprepared. The echoes of those who suffered still seem to resonate, creating a palpable tension that visitors sometimes describe as an invisible, suffocating presence. For inmates, this history is not just a story, it is a warning. It reminds them that the prison has survived countless threats and upheavals, and it will endure long after any one man comes and goes. Among the most secretive areas are the cell blocks themselves. Rows upon rows of steel doors line the narrow corridors, each with a small window through which life inside is both contained and observed. Inmates share stories of shadows moving in ways the mind should not perceive, of sounds that echo in the night, whispers, knocks, and unexplained thuds that never appear during the day. Some swear it is the ghosts of former prisoners. Others believe it is the manifestation of the prison itself, asserting dominance over every inch of its domain. It is in these moments, in the dead of night, when the guards are distant and silence reigns, that San Quentin reveals its darkest truths. The psychological toll on inmates is profound. Many speak of the wall in the mind, a barrier erected to survive the constant tension and looming threats. Yet even with such mental defenses, fear is never absent. It can manifest in sudden violence, paranoia, or despair. There are accounts of men who have spent decades in San Quentin and still walk the yards with vigilance, never fully letting their guard down. The fear is not of the law or the correctional officers. It is of the prison itself, of the invisible rules, and of the unseen eyes that measure and judge at every turn. And then there is the notorious death row, a place that carries its own reputation beyond the general population. It is here that the darkest stories of San Quentin converge. Men awaiting execution live under constant scrutiny, their lives measured in moments of ritual, protocol, and waiting. Yet even death row is not immune to the unspoken rules of prison life. Relationships are forged, alliances tested, and survival remains a constant challenge. Inmates have shared chilling accounts of communication that happens in whispers, notes passed in secret, and the delicate balance of power maintained even in the shadow of mortality. The first chapter of life inside San Quentin is not about surviving a single day. It is about learning to navigate a labyrinth of hidden rules, observing the hierarchy, and understanding the undercurrents of danger that exist at every turn. Inmates learn quickly that appearances are deceptive, that trust is currency, and that even the smallest misstep can have consequences that last far beyond the walls themselves. As the sun sets over the sprawling prison complex, the shadows grow longer, stretching across the yards where inmates walk in silence, heads down, eyes wary. It is a time when the real stories begin, tales of secrets buried beneath the surface, whispered in corridors, and passed quietly from one inmate to another. It is here that the true nature of San Quentin emerges, not merely a facility for punishment, but a complex, dark ecosystem of human behavior, fear, and survival. By the end of a new inmate's first day, the weight of understanding begins to settle in. They realize that San Quentin is more than a prison. It is a living entity with its own consciousness, its own rules, and its own justice. And it is here in this dark, formidable environment that some of the most shocking secrets in the history of American prisons are kept. Secrets that most outsiders would never dare imagine. For those watching from the outside, it may seem distant, almost unreal. But for those inside, every moment is a reminder that San Quentin is not just a place of confinement. It is a crucible, a proving ground, and a keeper of dark truths. Truths that have been guarded for generations, and that continue to shape the lives of those who dare enter. And as night falls, the silence in the cell blocks is almost deafening. In that silence, the whispers begin. Stories of survival, betrayal, and the unspoken codes that govern the prison. And for anyone stepping foot inside, one question lingers in the air, unanswered and unavoidable. What secrets will San Quentin reveal to you? And will you survive the answers? The night at San Quentin is a different world. The yard, now empty except for the faint glow of security lights, seems to hold its breath. The hum of the prison systems, lights, cameras, and distant alarms creates a constant, low-level tension. But the real activity happens in places most outsiders will never see. The hidden corners, the shadows along narrow corridors, and the cell blocks where whispered conversations shape destinies. Inmates have learned that survival here depends on understanding the unwritten rules, the codes passed down quietly from one generation to the next. Loyalty, respect, and discretion are as vital as strength and cunning. A man who violates these rules risks more than punishment. He risks becoming a target. Stories circulate of newcomers who underestimated the subtle tests imposed by seasoned inmates, men who were humiliated, beaten, or worse within hours of arrival. These stories are told in whispers, a mix of warnings and lessons. Lessons every prisoner quickly absorbs. Contraband is everywhere, yet no one speaks openly about it. Small items, phones, knives, cigarettes, pass through the prison like currency, traded in secretive exchanges that outsiders would struggle to believe. Guards are vigilant, but they are not omnipresent, and inmates have honed their craft over decades. Hidden compartments, coded messages, and ingenious smuggling techniques are part of daily life, demonstrating both the ingenuity and the desperation of those behind bars. Every item is a potential lifeline or a lethal threat. Among the most chilling tales are those of gang politics inside San Quentin. Rival factions control different sections of the prison, and territory is enforced with precision. A glance, a word, or even body language can signal allegiance or betrayal. Inmates speak of silent signals passed along the walls, corners where messages are carved into bricks or scratched into tables. Understanding these subtle cues is essential. Misreading them can result in violent retaliation. Here, power is invisible, but deadly. Violence is not random. It is strategic and ritualistic. A fight is rarely just a fight, it is a statement. Inmates may bide their time for weeks or months, planning and calculating every move. Some acts of aggression are revenge for past betrayals. Others are a warning, a method of establishing dominance. Stories abound of men who entered the prison confident in their strength, only to learn that survival is not just about muscle. It is about timing, observation, and knowing when to yield. Yet, not all secrets involve violence. There is a darker psychological side to San Quentin, one that even the most hardened inmates cannot escape. Isolation, constant surveillance, and the ever-present threat of harm erode minds slowly, often imperceptibly. Inmates speak of ghosts of the past, memories of executions, riots, and tragedies that seem to linger in the walls themselves. Sleep is fitful, anxiety is constant. Even the strongest men sometimes break under the weight of this invisible pressure. Death row is the epitome of this psychological battlefield. Men there live in confined spaces, constantly reminded of their mortality. Each day is a repetition, each night a trial. Some attempt to exert control by manipulating routines or alliances, but the ever-looming threat of execution overshadows all. Stories exist of men who have spent decades in these cells, watching the world move on outside, while their own lives are measured in rituals, restrictions, and the ticking clock of impending death. And yet, even here, the codes of survival are as vital as they are in the general population. San Quentin's history only intensifies the fear. The prison has endured riots, escapes, and corruption that often remains hidden from public view. There are accounts of unsolved murders and disappearances, events never fully explained by authorities, leaving inmates and staff alike to speculate. Some blame rival factions, others whisper of more sinister forces at work. Regardless, these events add to the sense of danger, teaching that the prison does not merely confine men, it tests them. It forces them to adapt, to evolve, or to perish. Within the general population, certain areas are considered no-go zones for the uninitiated. These sections are controlled by inmate leaders whose power is absolute. Outsiders, new arrivals, or guards may see only routine activity, but the men who live there understand the hidden economy, the unspoken rules, and the consequences of disobedience. Visitors often fail to grasp the subtle tension in these corridors, where a single misstep can ripple into life-altering consequences. San Quentin is also home to stories of redemption and resilience, though they are less often told. Some inmates channel their fear into discipline, using education, work programs, or spiritual practices to survive mentally and emotionally. These men navigate the same dangers as others, but manage to carve out small sanctuaries of stability in a world defined by chaos. Their stories are testament not just to survival, but to the human capacity to endure, even in one of the harshest environments imaginable. Yet, for every story of redemption, there are countless tales of despair. Some men succumb to the pressure, falling into cycles of addiction, depression, or hopelessness. The prison system, while enforcing rules, cannot erase the psychological toll of living under constant threat. Inmates often develop coping mechanisms that outsiders would find unimaginable, rituals, codes, and secret networks that help them navigate life in a place where the stakes are always survival. The most chilling secret of all may be the prison's capacity to watch, learn, and manipulate behavior. Cameras, guards, and surveillance systems are only part of the equation. The real observation comes from the men themselves, watching, judging, and teaching lessons through fear or mentorship. This network of surveillance is subtle, pervasive, and invisible, creating a system where everyone is accountable not only to the law, but to the unspoken authority that rules the prison from within. By the end of the second chapter, it is clear. San Quentin is more than a building. It is a living organism shaped by history, fear, and human behavior. Every corner, shadow, and whispered conversation contributes to a complex web of control, survival, and secrecy. The men who live here understand this truth fully, while outsiders see only statistics, headlines, and occasional media coverage. As dawn approaches, the prison stirs again. Inmates rise, routines resume, and the subtle dance of survival continues. The walls have seen decades of life, death, and everything in between, and they continue to guard their secrets fiercely. And for anyone daring enough to uncover them, the question remains, will you be able to withstand what you find, or will the darkness of San Quentin consume you, as it has so many before? The sun rises over San Quentin, but the light does little to dispel the darkness that lingers in its corridors. For inmates, daybreak is not a relief. It is a reminder that the hidden world of the prison never sleeps. Every step taken across the yard, every glance in a hallway, and every conversation carries weight. By now, newcomers who have survived their first months understand one undeniable truth. The prison keeps its secrets not just behind walls, but inside the minds of every man who lives there. Among the most chilling realities are the stories of hidden crimes that authorities may never uncover. Murder, assault, and retaliation occur in subtle, strategic ways, often leaving no trace but whispered rumors. Some men vanish from the general population under circumstances never fully explained. Others are found injured or incapacitated, with no official explanation for how or why. For inmates, these events are not random, they are warnings. They reinforce the message that San Quentin is not simply a prison. It is an ecosystem of control, fear, and unspoken rules. The prison's infamous death row holds a particular kind of darkness. Here, men await their executions with a tension that is both psychological and physical. Many who enter death row speak of the time that stretches endlessly, where each moment feels like a lifetime and every interaction carries weight. Alliances are fragile, secrets are currency. Even in this most isolated environment, danger is never absent. Stories abound of covert communications between death row inmates and the general population, sharing information about threats, opportunities, and survival strategies. It is a delicate dance. One misstep can prove fatal. Perhaps the most haunting stories are those that involve betrayal from within. In a place where trust is scarce and loyalties are tested daily, friendships can be weapons as easily as shields. Inmates have recounted moments when someone they considered an ally revealed secrets to rivals, manipulated situations to their advantage, or set traps that led to violence. Such betrayals are not merely personal. They are lessons, warnings carved into the prison's history. Every man learns to walk carefully, to question every word, and to assume that even those closest to him may harbor hidden agendas. Despite the danger, some inmates manage to create small pockets of stability, communities within the prison that thrive on mutual respect and cooperation. These enclaves are rare, fragile, and carefully maintained. They offer protection, access to resources, and a sense of human connection in a place where every other interaction can carry peril. Yet even these temporary sanctuaries cannot shield one entirely from the reach of San Quentin's unseen forces. Secrets have a way of surfacing, and no man can escape the reality that the prison's influence extends far beyond physical barriers. Education, work programs, and religious activities are avenues some inmates use to endure and even thrive. But these positive aspects do not diminish the darkness. They coexist with it. For every man who finds hope in these programs, there are countless others consumed by the weight of fear, past mistakes, and the relentless scrutiny of their peers. The duality of San Quentin, its ability to nurture and destroy, is part of what makes it so infamous. It is a place of extremes, where hope and horror exist side by side, often inseparable. The prison's history continues to cast a long shadow. Executions, riots, and corruption have left marks on the institution that are invisible to outsiders, but felt deeply by those who live within. Inmates speak of haunted halls, not by ghosts in the traditional sense, but by the collective memory of suffering, betrayal, and violence that permeates every corner. Every new generation of prisoners inherits these stories, learning to navigate a complex web of threats and alliances that have existed for decades. In this way, San Quentin is alive, not in the sense of bricks and mortar, but in the accumulated experiences of everyone who has endured it. As time passes, some inmates find ways to cope, to adapt, and even to find meaning in their confinement. They develop networks of trust, learn to anticipate threats, and carve out niches where they can exist with a semblance of control. But even the most careful plans are subject to the prison's unpredictable nature. Secrets can explode into violence, alliances can crumble, and the unexpected is always lurking just beyond the next door. In San Quentin, life is a constant negotiation between fear, strategy, and the faint glimmers of hope that some men cling to. The most shocking revelations often come from those who have lived decades behind the walls. They speak of unseen systems of power, codes that govern every interaction, and the ability of the prison to influence behavior in ways outsiders cannot comprehend. From the moment a man arrives, he is being measured, judged, and shaped by forces both visible and invisible. Those who understand this thrive, those who ignore it falter. It is a world where every secret has a purpose, and every action can ripple far beyond immediate consequences. By the end of their sentences, some men leave San Quentin transformed, not merely by punishment, but by the knowledge they have gained and the harsh truths they have witnessed. For them, the secrets of the prison are not just stories. They are lessons about human nature, survival, and the limits of fear. Yet even after release, these men carry with them the imprint of the prison. Its shadows linger, its lessons remain, and its secrets never truly leave. And for those still inside, the cycle continues. New inmates arrive, unaware of the intricate web they have entered. The walls continue to watch, and the stories continue to unfold. San Quentin is more than a prison. It is a living testament to the extremes of human behavior. Its secrets are guarded fiercely, its dangers are real, and its influence reaches far beyond the gates. As night falls once more, the prison settles into its familiar rhythm. Shadows lengthen across the cell blocks, whispers echo in the corridors, and unseen eyes continue to measure, judge, and shape the lives of everyone within. For anyone daring to uncover its truths, one question remains, heavier than the bars themselves. Can you survive what San Quentin hides, or will the secrets consume you too?